Call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge by Councilwoman Cherokee.
Please stand. Let's bow our heads. Father God, thank you for your unwavering love that you have so graciously bestowed upon all of us today. Heavenly Father, Bishop of all souls, our Master, Lord, and Savior, Jesus Christ, help us to stay the order of your course as we continue to lament and pray. Let our prayers be drift heavenward, ascending to God's throne concerning this city. The people we serve of this local governing body, this parish, the federal agencies, commissions, and this nation, and the demented issues we all face right here in our hometown in which we love, we call the city of New Iberia. Lord, you did not give us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind, body, and spirit. So on today, we humbly pray that you would continue to strengthen us with your spirit and your power, and turn the hearts of your children back to you. Turn the disobedient to your wisdom and your knowledge, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord in the city of New Iberia. O God, forgive us all of our personal sins as we lament and repent individually, for none here are perfect. We need you like never before. Help us to remain patient as you are working behind the scenes on our behalf against domestic and civil terrorism and destructive forces that are killing off our youth, and stop the evil attacks locally and nationwide. Acts of domestic terrorism against cities, homes, families, and schools. For your glory, step into this city. Dispatch your warring angels from the throne of grace. We pray thee, O Father, until your appointed time we wait. Until the day you come in the volume of the book, we wait. Together we will wait on you and believe that it shall come to pass and be fulfilled in our season of our appointment under this administration. By faith, we shall see as eyewitnesses what you want to do with this city that we love. O Lord God, we have not forgotten the hope and the promises you have given to us before we became a new administration as your chosen governing body. We ask by faith, O Prince of Peace, that you would saturate this city with your peace against all uncivil rest. I pray in the name of Jesus and by the power of your blood that you, O God, would grant us divine protection for your precious people of this city, according to John 16:23, and ensure safety and keep us from harm's way, and provide strategic protection from plans of destruction that have and or will be plotted against residents. Extend your strong right arm, O Lord, and we will continue to have hope until your promises become a reality. Saturate and cover this distinguished and chosen council, mayor and mayor pro tem, with your love, protection, wisdom, and guidance. And if you believe, say, and if you believe, I need everyone to say amen, 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 and amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Dan Doyle.
Here.
Councilmember Natalie Lopez.
Present.
Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember David Broussard.
Here.
Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter.
Here.
Councilmember Sherry Guidry.
Present.
Councilmember Dustin Swear.
Here.
Item 1, public comment. I'll ask you please to silence your cell phones, and this is a 3-minute public comment time where we hear from you. There's no debate back and forth, and I think we have 2 public comment cards.
Gabrielle Bro to discuss, to make a comment on agenda item number 7A. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are y'all? I'm just here to discuss the drainage canal that is located on Ann Street. I'm with New Orleans Daiquiris. I'm the area manager, the area supervisor. And where the drainage canal is, they actually have gravel for the employee parking right there. And my employees really, they're really skeptical about parking their vehicles right there, because whenever they laid the gravel, it's only been a couple months and you can walk and see where the gravel has actually shifted, where it's actually like going down at an angle towards the drainage canal. I don't think it's very safe. My employees don't feel safe. And I basically just came here to voice my opinion. I feel something definitely needs to be done with that. I'm not sure what, but I feel as though something needs to be done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Poochie Livingston, District 5, to discuss agenda item 7A.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
If I knew the lady was coming, I wouldn't have come. I'm here for the concern for the drainage canal on Ain Street. Talked to a representative, Mr. Chris Overton, that owns the whole complete building. She told me that he tried to get the previous mayor to cover the ditch, but they said no. Okay, right now the thing is eroding so bad. Going back to what this lady said, if we want business to come to Iberia and somebody asks you to fix it, we need to fix it. And about a week ago, I spoke to Sherry about how the thing was eroding, who could do what, and what we got now is a Band-Aid, where somebody put the broken concrete. That's a Band-Aid. If we want business to come into Iberia, we got to fix the thing. And plus, my house is maybe a block from when it rains heavy, it floods. Moss Oaks apartment, I feel sorry for them. And my house is like a half a block from that, but it stops by Moss Oaks. My parish councilman passed there about 2-3 times a day. And I haven't heard him say anything about it, but people in the city pay parish tax also. Now, if we could get the city and the parish to fix that, that'll be perfect. I hope y'all could get together and do something about it, because it's bad. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Item 2, Madam Clerk.
Acceptance of the minutes of the February 20th, 2018 meeting as published on March 1st, 2018.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lewis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Sherry Gibb. Do we have any discussion on this item? Hearing none, vote your machines. Thank you. Item 3.
Persons to address the council. We have Melissa Newell representing the Acadiana Planning Commission to provide an update to City Council of grant opportunities.
Hi, my name is Monique Boulay. Melissa works with us in the Acadiana Planning Commission. I'm the CEO of the Acadiana Planning Commission, and we're come here tonight. You're, I think, our 9th stop throughout the region. We are hitting all of the parish councils and then the city councils that are involved in our MPO. Just to put a face, I want to put a face on it from my perspective, and then we want to talk about those things that we're working on that are particular to the city of New Iberia. On this page, one of the primary functions we do is the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and that is federal transportation that comes into the region, and the region has to come together and disperse that. Melanie Bordelon's with me, and Melanie's background is a civil engineer. She runs the transportation division for us, and I'm going to let her talk to you about the 2 projects we have on here with this.
Yes, 2 of the projects, we do have 2 projects for you for New Iberia in particular. In our last project call, it was funded the US 90 frontage road extension. Extend the frontage road from Center Street, LA 14 to Avery Island Road, LA 329. The next step on that, keep in mind, as usual, these are federal funds, so there's certain criteria we have to go through. And our first step, the step we're at right now is trying to obtain a project number from DOTD. And with that, then we can start working on that. There's some paperwork we're working, it's at DOTD right now, and that's the next step, is to get that project number. In addition to that, and I think I came here with Ashley Moran in our office for our the local road safety program. And in that one is the second set of projects, and that's striping for 10 different roads in New Iberia, and that is totally 100% paid for and handled by DOTD. It's been accepted into the program. I think you should be getting something from DOTD regarding the design and the schedule on that. Those are some of the projects we have. We have actually we will be rolling out our bicycle plan for the area, for the Metropolitan Planning Organization area at our meeting tomorrow, our technical committee. We're presenting it in this set of meetings this month, and it'll be then we'll have an open comment period, and then it will be adopted after that in 2 months from that. So that's kind of some of the things we look at. So in addition to these projects, another project of interest to you is it's going through Iberia Parish, but it's Lewis Street at Admiral Doyle, the intersection there, intersection improvements and widening through there. And that is it's like I said, it's the matching funds are through Iberia Parish, but I know it's of interest to y'all here. See if there were any questions.
Great, thank you. Any questions?
I got a project
Sorry.
on LA 14.
Mm-hmm.
Sidewalks and turning lanes, maybe I add turning lanes to that too. Safety factor to access our Pepperplex from all the hotels. So we put that a while back, we sent a resolution. Are we on your map at all about maybe getting funds for help on that safety project? We put that already.
That was a resolution that was sent by this council to DOTD.
To DOTD, okay.
So is it on your agenda sometime to look into getting funding?
It's not, I haven't seen it on our agenda, but what I can do is look into it, because there is a new grant program called Safe Routes to Public Places, and that might fit perfectly with there. We can look at maybe if there are any crashes in that area, and so.
We had a couple of deaths trying to cross that highway to food places.
Okay.
We had at the light, we have a light, and we want a button put maybe that crosswalk, people to cross, so it's all part of that resolution.
Okay, so the resolution went to DOTD?
Yes, ma'am.
I will check, what we can do is check with them,
Don't mind.
and we can look, because that might be something we can
And
get
the
back with
Pepperplex
you.
is the biggest public thing we have for baseball and soccer and
Right.
everything else. So it's trying to get the people safely to our baseball park.
Right.
That's where the sidewalks come in handy.
Yeah, what we may need to do is, in addition to a resolution, we may need to help work with you on an application for that.
Sure.
Okay,
that is on your,
we'll certainly look into that.
thank you, ma'am.
All right,
Thank you, Mr.
thank you.
Broussard.
I have one question, Miss Melanie.
Councilman Gitter?
You mentioned something about a safety route to public places. Is that new?
It
Or is
u-
it something that y'all coming up with
It
now?
used to be, there was a few years ago, a federal program called Safe Routes to School.
Right.
And what they've done, it went away with federal funding,
Okay.
but state DOTD has kind of revamped the program, and now instead of Safe Routes to School, which was very prescriptive and it had to be a elementary or middle school, now it's more Safe Routes to Public Places. So that makes a few more avenues available.
Okay, so I guess it goes according to the demographics in a particular place, and also too. So let's say in a particular area or sector within my district, and there's people ride a lot of bikes, or there's no sidewalk or something to that nature. Would this particular program be eligible for something like that?
Quite possibly, yes.
Okay.
We'd be happy to look into it if you want to get
And so
with
a
us on
study
that.
would need to be done, or
Not-
you just have to fill out
we-
an application
It's an application, and it's, we would do a crash analysis, because that, for the usually safety funds are tied to, unfortunately, how many crashes you have in the area. They're trying to impact those areas that they're seeing the most crashes.
and it has nothing
And it
to
could
do
be
with
pedestrian.
income or demographics.
That's part of it, but it's not everything. A lot of it, like I said, safety funds are it's tied to the reduction in fatal and serious injury, as well as bicycle and pedestrian crashes. So that's something, like I said, we'll be happy to look at it and give you some guidance as to what would fit those applications.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I have a park in my district, Martin Luther King Center, known as West End Park.
Okay.
And Councilwoman Gidry, I think the library is in your district, right? But it's a parish library on Main Street. And we had talked about, when I heard the safe routes to public places, and it sounds kind of far-fetched, but I was looking at creating some type of bridge or walkway from the park over the tracks. See, because the way the park is situated, the library is situated, the back of the library faces the West End Park.
Okay.
And when I hear this safe routes to public places, that's what I think about. So I just kind of want to, because I see
think-
the jotting down, I said, let me
I'm
jot
glad-
that down and think about it.
Yeah,
So we're
I-
gonna try to get together on that, Ms. Sherry, you and maybe the parish councilman for that district, Mr. Pollard. It seemed far-fetched, but it makes sense to have those kids a safe route, and also it'll be inviting for them to come and read,
Right.
and learn how to work on the computer and those things like that.
I think that's great. If you want us to come get with you and kind of pull that together, and we can give you the feedback as what all is included and see how it fits. I think that would be great. It's better to ask.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank y'all for coming.
Not quite finished?
Oh, sure. Oh,
Okay,
no, great.
sorry. I do want to
Projects?
stop and introduce a new addition to our staff, Deidre Druyat. Deidre? Deidre was formerly with DOTD, but she's joined the Acadiana Planning Commission, and she is helping us communicate a lot better. So we are a grant-driven organization. We don't have a tax base. We collect, for the MPO, you pay a match into our administrative dollars. But we also have an economic development arm, and we work with the Department of Commerce, the Department of Environmental Quality. We work with a lot of the federal agencies and the state agencies. After the floods of 2016, we were in a lot of those meetings, and it evolved, and you may have seen the governor allow the region to collectively allocate the mitigation dollars. We had a $25 million pot. And what we were trying to do is get, typically, like with you guys, you have a drainage issue in the city, and you're trying to solve the drainage issue in the city, and you don't necessarily even have the legal capacity to go outside the city and fix it if the problem happens to be next door. So what we're trying to do is create a situation where we can back up and look at the water flow and figure out how do we fix it, regardless of where it where it is, and how do we have the biggest impact. And so the project that Iberia Parish was given was actually the largest amount, I guess, the largest amount in the projects that we did allocate, and it was the Lake Panua project. It was a very interesting process because I'll say we had 3 engineering firms and we had 3 jurisdictions all in the same conversation. There's a silted plug in Lake Kinnear that has an impact in Youngsville, Vermilion Parish, and Iberia Parish. And so it was a really, I used this, I've talked about this particular project at all of the councils across the region because that was our objective. How do we address issues that affect a lot of people? Because we have some of those key issues. And so that project was funded on behalf of Iberia Parish. And then we have 2 other projects. One came also out of the watershed issues, was the Regional Gauge Network. We're working with UL and we've asked them to put together, if we could have data coming from every one of the Tesh, the Vermilion, and the Mermentau, and the water flow in and out, the tributaries, where would you put it? And they have 2 PhDs over there that work in H&H every day. And so they came up with over 300 recommendations. I think we've narrowed it down to closer to 200, but they will come back and visit with your public works and make sure if we're putting a gauge here in New Iberia, does it work for you guys? Is it at your trigger points where you really need to collect data? And we're going to build a web interface so that you get live, or what they call near live data, on your water levels. That will also give us the capacity, and we're working with the state to help us fund a watershed model for everybody to be able to use so that we understand the impacts. Right now, Lafayette pulled together some money internally to clean their ditches and their coulees. Well, Vermilion is quite nervous about that. We don't really understand the whole impact on the entire system when we do something in one particular area. There's the upstream effects and the downstream effects. So we're trying to get that technology for all of us in this region to be able to have. And the governor is very supportive of that. Yes, ma'am.
So, let's say, I wanted to propose a maintenance program annually for all of our drainage to be cleaned once a
Right.
year for the entire city and stuff. Is there a program or something that would tie into
So
that?
the mitigation
Something like what
funding,
Lafayette does?
right, and that was a tax that the mayor there had reallocated. It was
Right.
his medical tax. We don't get funding for drainage.
Okay.
The mitigation dollars, it was a one-time after the storm, and every parish typically would get them, and maybe some of them buy out a repetitive damaged home or raise a home. Some of them do drainage projects. The parish presidents got together and said, we want it all to go to drainage. And let's try to do it from a regional perspective. So it's really monumental. I'll say it's not happening anywhere else in the state, and FEMA and the federal agencies, the Corps of Engineers have really opened their eyes because they don't see this very much across the nation. And so we're hoping it opens more doors to more funding. But we are moving forward, and wanted to share that with you. Good. Any other? Now I'm done.
Oh,
I have one question. You brought up a good point, bringing up about the Lake Pinier project that was done by the parish. So this is not an annual
No.
mitigation.
It's dollars that
It's
came
just the
from
August 16 flood.
the August 16th.
So
flood.
Lake Pinier was the only project in the parish that was awarded the money from that pot.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So it was a $25 million pot, and they got 5. And we had 8. We included St. Mary because they're in our watershed. And, the thought was if there's something there that needs to be fixed to help us, we want to be able to put the money there.
Okay.
So it was a pretty large,
So that was split up between Iberia, St. Mary, that $25 million, or just strictly Iberia?
Acadia, Evangel, and Iberia, St. Landry, St. Mary, St. Martin, and Lafayette.
The reason why I'm asking is Lake Fossey Point is another lake that drains the north side of the parish. Also drains most of the north side of the city.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked that question. If this was an annual thing.
No, it would be nice.
Right, it would be. That's why.
The transportation dollars are annual. Federal Highways has that in federal legislation. There is not a federal agency dealing with watershed issues right now. And I do think they took a lot of what we did, and they worked with Houston after their flood. They are trying to develop that. They're trying to answer that question because we're all dealing with drainage at an individual level throughout the country, and we really need to back up and look at the water flow and the watersheds. Yeah, there's a lot of work still to be done,
All right, well,
you know.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's all good news.
Thanks.
Item 3B, Madam Clerk.
Pastor Zachary Mitchell to address the council on the events which occurred in District 2 and the upcoming events for District 3.
Well, good evening, council.
Good evening.
It's a great day, isn't it?
It's a good
Beautiful weather and et cetera. I want to begin my very brief time with you by expressing my heartfelt gratitude for the plethora of subjects that you guys deal with, where it comes to our city. And I'm not well versed to do that, but you are, and I'm so grateful for that. But I have a question for the council, and once again, I'm not going to let you answer to save some time. What is our greatest resource here in New Iberia? It's not sugarcane. It's not Tabasco. It's not our industries. It's not our business. It is our people. Whether it's African American, Caucasian, Asian, Hispanic, and all in between, it is our people. And you and I both know, drainage does matter to people, and there are a lot of other issues that matter, that make life a whole lot easier. But if we don't deal with some way, some shape, some form, what's inside our people, then we'll keep flowing in one direction. I wanted to report to you concerning the initiative of taking this city for God, of how it's going. We are finished with District 2. And I want to say that there was tremendous momentum from District 1. We want to thank Councilman Lewis for his tremendous participation. He was integral in a lot of the things happening. We went out on last weekend, and I'm telling you, the atmosphere was just tremendous. People were out. They were in their yards. They were barbecuing. They were just overly happy. We shared with a lot of people. We covered a lot of territory. Matter of fact, we covered 3/4 of the streets in District 2. We had 42 people that made an open confession to the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, from where I stand, I'm telling you that is something extremely glorious, because before kingdoms change, men's hearts must change. And God is the only one that can change our hearts. And so we had a grand time with District 2, and now we move on to District 3. And I've cut way back on our paperwork. I have some folders here, but what I'm going to do is, I know Mr. Broussard stepped out, but I want to give him this for the simple reason is he is over District 3. And we are going to assault District 3. And if you don't mind, let me call in the other council persons that would need to have these. And I tell you what, excuse me, Miss Natalie. If you look, if you open that folder, you're going to see, first of all, it's basically a letter flyer with the Macedonian call that we send out, okay? And the second sheet behind that is, should be the prayer points. Am I correct? Do you see that? Prayer points. These are prayer points that's going to be prayed specifically for District 3. And then behind that, you will see what we call hot spots in District 3. All the way down St. Jude, the Back Manila Garden Apartments, some parts of Julia Street, and other places in District 3 that we will be attacking, not only with on-location things, but through prayer. What happened on March 1st was we began praying for District 3 in the night from 10 p.m. To 2 p.m. This week we actually cut it back from 10 p.m. to midnight. So prayer goes up for those prayer points every night, and then here coming on the 10th, which is this coming Saturday, we will find ourselves doing a prayer walk in District 3. We will begin at the Backmanella Garden Apartments. We will come down to Dale Street. We will pause there at the railroad tracks and pray concerning that because, I take leadership of our volunteer called CERT, which is a Community Emergency Response Team. And we recognize that on our rails, there are a lot of things that pass through this parish and that we need them to pass through and not stop and not come off the rails. And so we're going to stop there and we're going to make a left on Walton and then go down all the way to Robinson and end there. In between this prayer walk and then our all-night prayer that's going to take place on the 23rd and the 24th, as well as what we call boots on the ground, where we go knock on doors, we will be praying for those areas. I wanted to kind of finish my time up to give you some encouragement. We are highly encouraged because of the unity. There's been a statement said that if the church can get together, the world will change. Well, I come to tell you that we're moving toward that. It takes something supernatural to get us together, but there's some things happening in our community that we must come together. And so I think that was displayed somewhat on last night in the meeting. But also we have other things that were working and working in the community. On last week we had a prayer vigil for unity over at Our Lady of Perpetual Help, and that was well attended, and it was a glorious, glorious event. And it is a move. And then we have upcoming things that's going to happen. Your own Councilwoman Sherry Guidry has coming up a Tight and Right event on March 17th that we are collaborating with her on that. And listen, it takes all of us coming together to make this thing happen. And we have to learn, the leadership has to learn, that you have to learn to follow before you can lead. And you have to learn to submit to whoever's in charge. I don't care how much authority you have. Two quick stories. One to support that is this lady was in the line and she was in charge of, in the food line, she was in charge of serving fried chicken to the governor and all his staff and all these people that came. And the governor came through and saw the fried chicken and he said, "Ma'am, listen, this looks so good, smells so good. Could I have 2 pieces?" She says, "No, sir, you can't." Said, "We have all these people to serve. I can't give you 2. He looked at it and he says, "Do you know who you're talking to?" She said, "Yes, sir, I surely do." And she said, "Do you know who you're talking to?" He said, "No, ma'am, I don't. My name is Miss Evelyn. I'm over the fried chicken. You get 1 piece." And so I want to encourage you with my last story, because it's important for us to understand that, how this thing flows. We have to learn how to submit to one another. Submission is not a weakness, it's a power, because you're submitting to whoever is standing in charge. So we understand that. Last thing, for unity, we must understand. Many of you are old enough to know what a bushel of crabs look like. You know the container that crabs come in? You got two containers. One is full with crabs. The other one have 1 crab in it. And I know some people behind me know where I'm going with this. Which one of these baskets would you put a lid on? The one that's full of crabs or the one that has 1? The answer to the story, the rest of the story is simply this. You put it on the one that has the 1 crab in it, because that one is going to get out. The other one, everybody's going to pull them back down as they try to get out. Let's remember that. And listen, thank you, Council, for your support. If they let me, I'll be back next time, letting you know about District 3 and the fantastic time we're having. Bless you.
Thank you. Thanks for all you do. And we're going to let you come back. Madam Clerk, item 3C.
Michael Bell, representing the Felicities Humanitarian Historical Society, acknowledging Gilbert Delahousie and presentation of plaque by the mayor and a representative of the New Iberia Police Department.
First, I want to say thanks for letting me be here. And I want to give thanks to the Delahousie family for being here. And before I give you a brief history of Felicity, I want to tell you a brief story about Mr. Gilbert Delahousie. He was one of the, if not the first, black officers of the civil service that served the city of New Iberia, not just the West End, boldly and strongly. I can remember as a young man, he gave us strength and wisdom, which is lacking today. He was highly respected by the whole community, not just the black community. Excuse me, I got to turn to the audience, but the community as a whole. And I'm more than proud, but God has gave me a gift to express that feeling. And I'm also going to give you a story on Felicity. Felicity was a black woman in the city of New Iberia that came from Haiti. In 1835, New Iberia had a yellow fever epidemic. Half of the population had died the following spring. The woman who had the least, who gave the most, the leading doctor had passed away. She took control of the village of New Iberia and nursed them back to health. Not only did she do that, she arranged for the funeral. And the day of her death, every man, woman in the village of New Iberia shut their doors. Now you got to look at the time and the era. There was no penicillin, no antibiotic, but this brave old black woman went door to door, healing the sick and burying the dead and arranging. Her plaque says that her name should not go into oblivion. This is one of the reasons why I'm here. Like I said, God gave me that ability to do positive things in our community. And that's one of it. And being and honoring Mr. Sergeant Delahousie, I can only say we're stepping in the right direction. And believe me, we are one America. And if we don't get our act together, we are going to fall apart. Stop looking at a race, but looking at one human being in one America. And that is so important, people. And I'm saying this from my heart. I get nothing out of this. I'm not getting paid, but I care about where I live and I care about this country. And we need to get our act together. We can pray forever, but if we don't take action with prayers, nothing is going to happen. And I thank you so much, and I'd like to have the mayor and the assistant chief and the chief of police to present the plaque to Sergeant Gilbert Delahousie, who stood strong in our community. And his children, his nieces and nephews should be very proud because he was a strong man. And thank you guys so much.
Good evening. I'm gonna get up for this one. Brandon? Our chief is at a seminar, conference, so we have our assistant chief, Brandon Williams, here to help me present the plaque. I'll just tell you a little bit. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but Gilbert Delahousie Sr. was one of 12 children. He was the oldest. He received his education from Iberia Parish Training School. He enlisted in the military and served our country honorably. He joined the New Iberia Police Department. He was the first African American to do so. He did a great job. He became a sergeant, and he was the first African American sergeant of our department. For many years, he worked the Hopkins Street substation. When that closed, then as time passed, he came and worked all of New Iberia. He died at a very young age of 54, and he left behind a wife and many children. He's buried at St. Edward's Cemetery. I'll try to get all the names right. Gilbert Sr. was married to the late Mary Alexander and was the father of 9. Gilbert Jr. of California, Beatrice Livingston, Dorothy Antoine, Joanne Delahousie, Terry Delahousie Sr., Cynthia Delahousie, Ricky Delahousie, who I went to school with, Deidre Chambers, and Tremaine Delahousie. So it's a great honor to present this to you and your family. Thank you for your service, and y'all are a great family. I've met with many of you over my year here and love working with all of y'all. So thank y'all very much. Brandon, give him a applause. And how fitting with our new police department about to roll out. It's really an honor to do this. He made history, and we're hoping to do the same thing. So thank y'all very much. Madam Clerk, 3D.
Mark Boyante, representing Iberia Performing Art League, to discuss the Art and Film Festival on July 28, 2018 at the S&E Theater.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I'm here to announce that we're going to be hosting a Iberia Film Festival. It's the first one, I think, in Iberia. And that's going to be on July 28 at the S&E Theater. And what the film festival consists of is short films, our first year. And it's going to have 4 different categories: narrative, documentary, animation, experimental, which is music videos. And we're going to invite national filmmakers to our film festival, but we're also going to focus on local filmmakers. We have a lot of local filmmakers in this area that people don't know about, and a lot of people that want to get into film, into the film industry. And we're going to be able to broadcast that also on our at the S&E Theater. And what's cool about the S&E Theater is they have the seats, we have a screen now, and plus a projector. So in order to see your work on the big screen with everyone in the community, it's an awesome feeling. And the deadline is going to be June 20th. There's a deadline for the films to be submitted, June 20th. We also have an early deadline and a late deadline, which is July 6th. And the deadline for June 20th is $30, but any film that is filmed in Iberia Parish, they will get a $10 off the entry fee. So we're trying to get people from Iberia Parish to enter. And like I said, we had a lot of local filmmakers. Matter of fact, Panat's doing a film. I don't know if you know James Edmonds. He's done a couple films. We have a Dan Brocklin, Becky and Paul Snake Schneider. So we're going to have a very good time. So I just wanted to let you guys know about this film festival that's going to be going on. And we're going to have it every year at the last weekend of July is when it's going to be held. And hopefully after we finish with, this year's going to be at the S&E Theater, and hopefully a few years from now we'll be able to expand it through all downtown New Iberia and involve everyone downtown. All right, and that's all I want to say.
Great, thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
3D.
Mr. Paul Landry with the Iberia Parish Council to address the council on researching the possibility of merging the drainage flow of channel M26 T5U as per Iberia Parish Agenda Item Number 44.
Thank you very much, Council. It's a pleasure to be here. I used to be around in the days that there was a lot of fighting between the parish and the city, and it's such a good feeling to know that Freddie and President Reshort are working so well together. Just to kind of finish up some of the thing with the ladies with Acadiana Planning, besides we got the $5 million out of 25, and besides the dredging of Lake Penure, the parish is looking to build some detention ponds on our side, and Youngsville will build detention ponds on their side. So as the water's starting to flow, we'll have a way to slow it down as it's leaving the parish. As far as the T-Bayou item, many years ago, T-Bayou went all the way into like the Highland Baptist area, and it was a big canal that drained and went all the way to Lake Falls Point. It basically takes the 2 ridges of the Laurelville Road and the old Generette Road, and everything in the middle comes down into the T-Bayou and heads out to Lake Falls Point. Probably in the 70s, the city council put the pipes in from Highland, came down and through the Gingerbread area and underneath Lewis Street. And then when it gets behind the office buildings on the side of Dotrieve Hospital, it makes a sharp right and it takes all your water and heads out to Bayou Teche. So basically, the very beginning of T-Bayou is just like any other ditch. So we have all this water that's coming from Dotrieve's Plantation, Astor Place, Terrell Court, going all the way down. So the thought was just to have the administration look at it and to see if we could possibly put a pipe at the very beginning that would run alongside y'all's 72-inch pipe. And then after a little distance, and I'm not an engineer, I just used to play in the cane fields when I was young. It would merge in and it would go on down to Bayou Teche. So it would alleviate further down T-Bayou in the city and, help alleviate some of the water there. So that's the thought process behind it, helping y'all citizens, helping our constituents and everything. Another project that Freddie and Larry can lay their heads on it. Any questions?
Sure. And I think you're right. I know a little bit about that.
because I sat where Justin was for quite a few years about that project. And we had engineers over engineers. And what we ended up doing is that the city could never clean the project or the bayou because we didn't have the easement. On the right side is really parish. It's still parish, and we gave an easement, or the owners did, for us to clean the canal. That culvert you talking about is like 6 foot by 6 foot. I went in it from Bayou Teche to a manhole with a P-rope. The culvert was over-designed. I never saw, because it's right by my house, I never saw much water in it, even during a big rain. The pipes you're talking about that goes to like Pre-U Street behind Highland Baptist, and that ties into that.
Right, 8-foot box, I believe.
Right.
That turns it.
Ties it to that and turn, go, because it got some manholes you can get from the top and look into it.
Right.
But one thing that we always had a problem with T-Bayou is, of course, cleaning it. If you go right now, as of yesterday, it's clogged. Those pipes coming from the city, from Pre-U Street or Holland, going to, it's clogged. They're dumping stuff all in those pipes. I just saw it yesterday. They got another pipe further down, they dumping stuff all in it. One thing's gotta be done is some signs, you can go see it today, and it's there, it's covering up the pipes. Is that, have signs up there saying that you get caught dumping, it's a big fine. We have to educate those people. If you go down the canal, it's been years since we cleaned it. They got trees still down the canal that needs to be cleaned.
Right.
And then what really created a problem, I mean, I know this like the back of my hand because I lived it, is that when they built some subdivisions to the right, that started dumping from the parish those into this thing. And what we end up doing is Emile Verret, there was some big culverts on that. And we got the state to come in with the parish. It was Troy Abed and Craig Romero back then, and they put a span bridge.
Correct.
I mean, I know
Yeah.
that so well. And then prior to that, into the parish, the parish went and cleaned some stuff in Bel Air, and that was a big promotion with letting the landowners let us do that to help the flow.
Right.
But they got another canal that it was never addressed called the Far Canal.
Correct.
When it turns, and it's out the city, but it drains the city's water, just like,
Correct.
it was clean only halfway. The other part, nothing, is so stopped up. So I think, you have the right idea, but I think there's some other solutions that can even help it more.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about? Because putting in those culverts underground did restrict it to a point, but not enough. I mean, they're big. I mean, you can walk in them.
I'll get a meeting with you, and I'll get all that down, and I'll sit
Yeah.
down with Larry.
Because
and,
that big culvert you're talking about, you're exactly right, it's not being used.
Right.
I mean, it's being used, but it could be used better.
Correct.
Instead of sending all the water all the way to T-Bayou, some can be diverted. But that Far Canal, we always said it, that if it was ever cleaned out, and matter of fact, Joe Gonzalez, who was Sewer District 1, he passed away, but they had a big pipe going across that canal that was stopping stuff, they buried it. So a lot of work's been done, but when you move to a new administration, it stops.
Correct.
It never continues what was happening, so I think it could help that area for sure. But someone needs to go, because that canal is owned half by us and half by y'all.
Yeah.
But y'all do the maintenance, and we appreciate that.
And we're happy to do it for you.
But I think some sign has to be done, because people even farther down the canal, like Plantation, that is throwing stuff in it. And somewhere we're gonna make them be accountable for that. But I would like you to maybe
Sure.
look at what's stopped up now.
Yeah,
and you
I'll
would be
I'll get with you, and I'll get with Larry, you know.
But I appreciate it, because
And I don't know right off the top of my head, but a lot of our millages, for drainage and like the health unit, is paid by city as well as parish, and it goes to money for the dog pound and things. So, y'all should get y'all fair share on things like that, and that's fair.
And I appreciate what you're doing, but I think there's some things that might not be costly to help the improvement of it right away.
Sure. Any other questions?
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Justin?
Oh,
Justin?
Mrs. Ray.
Being that we're in a city room here. Should I call you chairman or should I just call you Mr. Paul? Which one you want?
Well, you know, I am the chairman this year, Natalie was last year, and Ricky Gonsolana first. I think that's all your districts, so you need to step up, young man.
I want to reflect on what he said earlier, is that we speak on a daily basis, and we're all working great together. We are actually working on a couple of projects right now and getting some right-of-ways and easements, because after all, like you said, 3 parish councilmen and myself cover one area, and it's really awesome that we actually have a communication line open.
Yep.
On the T-Bayou issue, so what we're getting at is that actually it's a flat plane.
Correct.
There's no actually really, we've already determined that before with engineers, that there's really no slope going out, not much of one. Mr. Leroy stated back when the Far Canal was dredged on one side but not the other due to easement issues. The city does own one section of right-of-way, which is behind Palmerland subdivision. Is that correct? That one
area.
One little area.
But it's not long.
It's not much, but it's one area. So the goal is to get the water to come back. So instead of those neighborhoods right there in District 6, the water to come back to the test. So you're not going to necessarily go into that box drain. You just want to merge into another pipe, is what you're.
Right,
So
and
I don't want
then
anybody thinking that we
after,
want the water going back to.
no,
back
no,
That's
no,
all
it
we're
would,
doing.
in my opinion, and we'll wait for an engineer to decide, it would come back to the beginning, follow along your pipe, at some point merge in where everything is flowing. It wouldn't enter the 8-foot box where it cause a bunch of turbulent water moving around. But you're right, if we could take from Terrell Court down, you'd alleviate all that flooding, because Plantation and Astor Place is starting to have some flooding down.
All right, and thank you
Some
for
of the
answering the
older-
question as far as the money, where the MPO
Sure,
money went.
sure.
That was a good answer there. And, but like I said, I appreciate you coming on short notice.
No
And
problem.
Thanks for the council and the mayor and putting this on here to bring them forward. So hopefully we'll be talking soon about that. and get things
Good.
done.
Paul, it's a pleasure to work with you. Thanks. You always have that cooperative attitude that, you know, you're one of the reasons we're doing what we're doing. Our council feels the same way, and so does the parish president, but that's our future. If we don't continue to communicate and cooperate, you know, we're not going to get to first base. But we are moving, and things are good, and can't thank you enough for that.
Anytime.
I left one thing out.
All right.
I like to
too.
call it cooperation without consolidation.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
How about that?
Thank you.
How about that?
Thank you.
I can put a resolution if you want.
Hey,
Thank you.
we might hit you up on that one. Any further? We all good? Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Madam Clerk.
Resolutions. Resolution accepting the 2017 System Survey and Compliance Questionnaire for audit engagements of government agencies.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by, I think it was Councilman Swear, second by Councilman Lewis. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please vote your machines. Thank you very much. 4B.
Resolution awarding bid to 5J's Construction LLC for renovations to the West End Community Center and authorizing the mayor to sign any and all documents in connection with the contract.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lewis, second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. We have Paul Allen here if you have any questions. This, of course, is our project to fix the roof on the teen center, put some new air conditioners, put a stove in the kitchen that has none, and a ceiling in the meeting room. So, long overdue. Do we have any discussion or any questions for Paul?
I do.
Okay, great scores. No, that's good. Good job.
I got a couple of questions, Paul.
Yes, Dan.
We got a list of all the bidders on the project,
Right.
and you got 3 alternates on the job.
Correct.
And all alternates are to do some extra work. How can the contract that was low gave a negative price to do extra work? You alternate 1 and 3. You see what I'm talking about?
You're talking about the City Park project?
No,
West End?
we're talking about West End right now.
Okay, all right.
To replace the ceiling, he said is negative.
Right. Okay, let me explain these alternates. You can have an add or deduct alternate.
But
Dan.
all the rest are additions, but all the other bidders.
What we did was set up some alternates for work that was built into the base bid to be deducted out of the base bid.
But why
Okay.
they all, the other ones?
Well, they misinterpreted what we asked for, and I talked to the three low bidders to ask exactly what they put in that base bid value to start off with. And all the items that they put in were add items, not deduct. And so when you talk about not having to remove a ceiling, but simply sanding the tile in place, or the grid in place, we consider that to be a deduct from the base bid value. When you talk about adding a fire suppression system into the building, which didn't have one, we see that as a added value to the base bid. And then when we talk about not changing an entire ceiling system, but only the tiles, then we consider that as a deduct off.
But you see how it's kind of misleading when the low bidder was all deductions and all the other bidders was additions for the same amount of the work that was called for.
Well, we
Unless they read it wrong.
explained to them what those alternates were, Dan, and this is how they responded.
And it's, look, I went and look at the project with Mr. Lewis and Freddie, and for that one stove, it's $6,600.
It's a fire suppression system, Dan. Yeah, and
that-
that's actually
a gas stove
mandated,
or
And that's a good price.
and that's mandated,
No, that's an electric stove.
Dan, that's mandated by the state fire
I
marshal.
know, I was just.
Oh, no, it's expensive. It's expensive.
Well, it's
Try building a restaurant.
It's a life safety code, state fire marshal requirement for fire suppression
Five
system.
J's Construction, just, because we get a lot of bids out here, and where are they from?
They're actually from New Iberia.
I know.
Mr. Wesley Julius is here tonight. He owns the company.
Okay.
And they're licensed, they're bonded, they're insured. And all that documentation is actually in front of Jeff right now
Yeah.
for their review.
So-
So they're a legitimate company, Dan.
So if you prove, if you're gonna approve it tonight, then they can start within a month if.
I would hope they can start
Hope they start
soon.
sooner than that, really. Yeah.
Hope they can,
Okay.
And they're
as soon
doing
as.
both projects. Hope
I
they
mean,
run them.
Right, as soon as
consecutively.
Jeff approves the contracts, then I think Freddie can sign.
Yes.
And we can issue the notice to proceed, Dan, as soon as possible.
And you showed in one of the letters about the total of the projects, of the two projects was budgeted around $96,000, right?
The total value of funds available was 103, $103,080. That was what's available. What the two combination, the bids came in was $97,644, which is $5,436 under budget.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going with this, we're not adding nothing to the project since we had, even though we had the money for it. You remember we talked about something in City Park, and I know that this is not the one, but in City Park, we want to do something more. and we
Well,
didn't know we had
let me
the
just
money
make
for it.
mention, Freddie and I had this discussion. Dan, we have some money in the council, we have some money built in here for an allowance. Should we need a flood mitigation system put in? We're actually hoping we don't, but most of the manufacturers today ask for it, but we're kind of hoping we don't have to spend, it's an allowance of about $3,000. If we don't use that, we're going to put that right back into the project and maybe do something that we necessarily didn't want to take out, and that might be the entry porch system for.
That's what I was
Yeah,
talking about.
right.
There's a possibility you can.
We'd like to put it back in, but
We
we,
don't have to do the mitigation of the floor for moisture, then we can take that money and do our entry that we
Because that was one of those alternates. That
Yep,
had-
that's correct.
Right, okay, good. I just want to make sure since we budgeted, let's use it, since we have this opportunity.
I would like to,
And
because
got these good prices.
and we got good prices, a good
Yeah.
contractor, and our opportunity's not coming again, so, no time soon.
I think this is Mr. West
Thank
right
you.
here, yeah.
Any further discussion on this one? None?
Mayor, I just want to
Yes,
say,
sir.
man, look, since I've been there, this is the first time that I saw a minority contractor doing work in our city, and I'm grateful for that. I know y'all gonna do a good job.
Quick.
Good. Thank y'all. Well, this is a project long time coming, so please vote your machines. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
On that note, we'll do it again. Item 4C.
That's
Oh, you might as well stay up there.
Wait a minute, you're
Dan's
right.
gonna have some questions.
This is-
Y'all only been approved for one job.
That's right.
Don't leave yet.
Madam Clerk?
Resolution awarding bid to 5J's Construction LLC for renovations to the old fire station senior citizen center and authorizing the mayor to sign any and all documents in connection with the contract.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by two people, I don't know who was first.
Unanimous motion. Y'all wanna go to
Motion.
unanimous? We haven't done one since I think we stopped.
Okay,
Because this is my favorite building.
All right. I can do that.
Unanimous.
I might want to put a, but you
Dan.
might say no. Let's say Councilwoman Lopez and seconded by Councilman.
I have a
Weir.
comment.
And, of course, okay. Let's wait till we have a motion in a second. We all good? All right. Any comments?
Mayor was talking about just now about that canopy, because I really think that's a great asset to make this building look good. Can we say at this meeting, if those funds are available, they can take that alternate two without coming back to us, so we don't have to waste any more time?
I think we could. It's part of the project, so we're not deviating from the project. If we meet the budget, we can certainly do that. And that's our plan. Paul and I have talked about it. If I don't have to do that floor mitigation, we were just gonna automatically take it because we were within the budget that was approved. So you're right on that. We can do that.
We can do that way they can continue the
I think we
project.
well
It
within
doesn't
our.
change who the low bidder is.
No, it doesn't change, doesn't affect the low bidder, because that's one of the requirements. You can't do something that would do that, and we already have the money budgeted, so Kevin will be happy with that. So I think we can do,
If the council's fine with it.
if the council's good with it, I mean, I think that's how we should proceed.
Cool. Thank you.
Good. Any further comments, questions? Yes, sir.
I just want to make a quick comment. This is something that's been needing to be done for a long time, just
It
like
is.
West End.
It is.
And I'm glad we're actually taking the step to get it done. And thanks to 5Js for bidding on the job. I believe they're going to do a good job. But I'm glad it's here. I think last administration was talked about, and then now this is coming to fruition. So I appreciate the rest of the council. So thank you.
Thank y'all.
I wish I could give them
My only comment is that I'm probably gonna be like stalking and riding by.
Oh, you're welcome.
So please put a lot of heart and love into it, because I'm just so excited for the outcome. My family's been like asking me, is it ready to rent? I'm like, we haven't even started. Back up. Back up.
Good.
And if the law allowed, I would give them a good air conditioning price.
Yeah,
Save
well,
more money.
can't do that. Not
Can't
could
do
be the
that.
contract. Can't do that either.
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say congratulations to 5Js and looking forward to you doing a real good job and seeing the fruition of your work.
I saw the comment as
Yes,
well.
yes, ma'am.
We were in the MLK building on yesterday, Mayor, I think it was, and it does need some improvement, and I can't wait to see what you guys are gonna do with it. So I'm excited for you all as well. And like Natalie, I will be riding by and stalking because I'm excited to see what y'all gonna do with it. Congratulations.
All right, y'all. Well, I ask you to please vote your machine. Great. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, 5J. And you'll be heading to work pretty soon. Thank y'all. All right, Madam Clerk, 5D.
Resolution to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement by and between Iberia Parish Government and City of New Iberia for animal control services.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Lewis, second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. Do we have some discussion?
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
I know this was one of the first things that I was addressed with or approached with is picking up dogs, stray dogs. I can tell you, man, look, there are so many stray dogs.
got 'em.
And,
Yes,
and
sir.
I mean, I guess I just want to hear more explanation on what are they going to actually be doing and how is that process going to work.
This has been going on. This has been going on since last June. We approached the parish council, started talking about it, started going back and forth, had a meeting with the parish president. It's taken a while, but we're finally here. This will allow us to allow the parish to contract with the parish that their dog catcher will come into the city on a regular basis. We'll have one dog catcher, one phone number to call, not a consolidation guy, but this is great cooperation. So we'll have one number to call. They'll be in the city, they pick up the dogs, and they bring them to the facility that they have, that they operate for the dogs. We were paying a contract of $21,000, have for many, many years. They combined it. That's the difference from, you already approved one of these agreements a while back, but then it went back and got changed again. Okay, so hopefully this is the last time. But they combined the $21,000 that we paid to have kennel space with the $30,000 fee for them to come and be our dog catcher, basically. So now this is a $51,000 deal. That is a 1-year deal, so we'll try it out for a year and run it around the block, chase some dogs and see how it works. But it's a great deal that we are cooperating, we're working together, and we can finally have a dog catcher. If this doesn't work, we'll go back to a part-time dog catcher. I am hoping that this would do it because we haven't had a dog catcher since it was taken out of the sheriff's contract. So I think it's a positive step in the right direction. It's more good intergovernmental cooperation, and we got a lot of dogs to catch. Any further discussion? Yes, sir.
Just want to, maybe you can elaborate or whatever, just, so once we vote on this tonight and it goes over to the parish council, Mr. Chairman.
I'm signing it tomorrow morning and bringing it over there.
Okay, so all we'll be waiting on is the parish president to sign that document in order to
Yes.
get this thing rolling?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to get it out there.
Well, I will sign it in the morning. This has been a long time coming, and I'm excited that we initiate this. So y'all give me the approval. I will sign it in the morning and walk it over.
All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Once it's all signed and everything, and we have some dogs picked up in the city, can you write a little announcement in your section that says dogs to be adopted? Please.
Oh, you know,
call
we could, yeah, because I think there's going to be
it's
a big selection. Yeah. Okay.
Take a chance.
He did.
We can do that. Any further discussion at all? Please vote your machines. Good. Thank y'all very much. Madam Clerk, item 5.
An introduction of an ordinance fixing the terms of the sale of real estate belonging to the city of New Iberia to Edward Toriak for the sum of $5,000, which property contains 0.196 acres situated in the rear property belonging to Edward Toriak, and authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement to sell, cash sale, and any additional documents that he deems appropriate to accomplish the foregoing.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lewis, second. Councilman Broussard. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, please vote your machines. Thank y'all. And this will come back for the next meeting. Madam Clerk, item 5B.
Introduction of ordinance to be set for public hearing on March 20th, 2018. An introduction of ordinance fixing the terms of the purchase of a used police motorcycle from the city of Lake Charles, the 2009 Harley-Davidson FLHPA Road King, for the sum of $9,190, and authorizing the mayor to enter into a joint service agreement with the city of Lake Charles, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents in connection with said purchase in accordance with resolution number 18-06.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Guidry. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Councilwoman Lopez. Great.
I got a quick question.
Sure.
And I know this was the last one and we already voted on it, but the monies for the property that you're gonna be selling, Mayor, the $5,000, where is that gonna go to, sir?
It'll go immediately to the general fund, and then what I am hoping that over time, we talked about as we sold these properties, we'd use them for demo. So let's put it in the general fund because things are tight,
Yes, sir.
and we do have some money to spend in demo. Let's initiate that money, spend that money, but we are keeping track that, provided the economy holds, and we can do that, I think it's wise to put it in the general fund right now where our taxes are down and our money's tight. But at some point, I'm keeping track of that I'm hoping as things pick up, that would be more money to say, we got it off a property, let's use it to clean up some other problems.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good.
I have a question.
On 5D?
Yeah, on motorcycles.
Okay, just making sure.
How many motorcycles will we have in our fleet?
We're gonna end up immediately with probably 2 motorcycles. This one's a deal. This one's all tricked out, rigged up. This one's a good deal. So, it comes with the lights, comes with everything. We changed 2 decals and we're on the road. So we had budgeted 10 grand for this one, we're getting it for 9. So this one's cool. We're waiting on a price from the sheriff's department for a used motorcycle that they would sell us. I actually think it's the motorcycle they got quite a few years ago. We're gonna wait and see what that price is and what the condition is to buy that. Later in the year, we'll be doing another joint service agreement, we are hoping, with another agency that we're getting an even better deal on 2 motorcycles. But we would like to one day have 4. We need to have 2 fairly quickly. So this is our first one, and we will shop to see where our second one will come from. Thank you. Sure. Any further discussion? Vote your machine. Thank you. And we'll be doing these joint service agreements. The other departments that are working with us, Lafayette is giving us 5 cars. They are cars coming off the line from them. We're going to take them that they would be pool cars, and maybe we can replace some of the pool cars that we have, because we do have a couple for the city. So we'll be getting 5 cars. But every time we get something that one of these agencies is helping us, and that's exactly what's happening. They see what we're doing here. It's never been done. These agencies are coming forward and saying we want to help New Iberia. So we'll be doing more of these, and the more the better, of these joint service agreements as the months go by, and it's saving us money and getting us, good equipment. Thank you.
We're still buying them, they're not giving it to us.
In some instances, they're giving them to you. Yep, which is really cool. Parish President Robidoux is stepped in and said, I'm giving them 5 cars. So, because a lot of times these agencies will say, well, we'll keep them in our parish. We won't move them, to another community. But people are stepping up and saying, no, y'all are doing something really unique and we want to help. So in many instances, I think it will be given. Good. Yes. Great. Item 6.
Kevin Zarang, City Treasurer, to present budget to actual comparisons for November 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017.
Oh, Kevin, the shortened version?
No, I changed my mind.
I thought I had heard Kevin was sick.
Oh, no. We have an edited version. We're going to try the edited version tonight. He worked hard on that. Thank you, Kevin.
No. What we're going to do is we're going to do a very brief analysis of the numbers, and I picked out a couple of things I want to talk about, and then I'll open it up for y'all to ask questions. So the first thing I wanted to point out was on the finance department, how we are currently at 26.82% of the revenue. I wanted to point out that is due for us. The way we record our property tax is we record all of it, all at the beginning, and then at the end of the year, we adjust for those property taxes that we didn't collect, those that were refunded, versus actually recording it 1/12 each month. On the expense side, we're at 22, almost 23%, and that is because we have annual upgrades to the software, and that was recorded at the beginning of the fiscal year versus 1/12 each month. Also, I want to point out that on the revenue, we have not picked up any of the franchise income yet, because that comes in on either quarterlies or 6 months or a year. So that's why some of these numbers might look a little out of sync. On the planning and zoning, the revenue is down 31.34%. I mean, not down, but it's higher. It's just the way we receive some of the funds is not 1/12 each month. The expenses are high at 83.51 because we did not budget the cost for Church Alley, because that was a project that was to be completed in the prior fiscal year. But at the same time, when we incur those costs, they will be backed and submitted for reimbursement at 80%. Parks and Recreation, their revenue is high at 57.64% because the majority of their revenue is the property tax, or also known as ad valorem tax, and that was recorded at the beginning of the fiscal year versus 1/12 each month. Overall, the general fund is at 19.10% of its revenue and 17.31% of its expenses. After 2 months, with this is for the November and December, we should have been at 16.71%. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Good job, Kevin. Lightning fast.
Great job, Kevin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, now we're moving on to the fun part. Items for discussion.
Councilmember Sherry Guidry discussing the erosion issue on Drainage Canal that parallels Ann Street near the intersection of Admiral Doyle Drive.
Great. Councilwoman Gidry, we're gonna put the picture up while you're talking. She's,
I understand that the lady from the new business owner, Ms. Gabrielle, was here from the daiquiri place. I don't know if she's still here. I think she left.
She left.
Okay, I wish she would have stayed. But I did, as a new leader, I try not to be reactive. I try to be proactive. But I did contact the mayor and Mr. Leroy, which is the man. We went on the scene. We've taken a look at this particular area that has been eroding, and we are excited about the new businesses that has recently went up there, the new economic development that's starting in that area near the Admiral Commercial Canal. And of course, we want to enhance and preserve what we have. So this is one picture that we have.
yes, I
Do
think
we
we
have
have, I think
another
we have a
one?
couple. Yeah, I
We
think
have
we have
some
a
more?
couple. Yeah.
Okay,
Well, then we're gonna go into the other one. It's
Okay.
just, they're all basically just the same.
okay,
And I'll just point out, it is private property. Besides the ditch, the
Yes.
property where the parking is and the property that they were discussing of their parking lot is private property.
right.
We have,
And the
you know,
gravel she's discussing,
it's
that's private property.
Right. They purchased that property and have renovated it and, you know, enhanced it, done a development. They actually came further than our right-of-way.
Correct.
Because we do have a ditch and there is an easement that they need to maintain for us to maintain the ditch. So I didn't want to, the items for discussion are just to let people express their opinion and not a debate. But basically, they're parking too close to the canal, they're in our right of way, they extended the limestone over, and any improvements that are required on the property are private property. This is the beginning, the picture with the rocks that we had before. You know, that's the beginning of Leroy Public Works taking care of some erosion issues along the canal, and we know that we're gonna have to continue to do that.
Right.
But I just wanted to point out that some of the issues we can address, because we can't work on private property.
Right, and also too, I did speak with a few of the residents that is located near that particular commercial canal ditch, and Moss Oaks, I think it's those apartments there. They flood out pretty quickly there, so hopefully, us working on this, it'll help.
I agree.
I
Yes,
think,
sir.
Mayor, I think a few years ago, we had to, where the culverts are, we had to get the parish to come and try to clean that up because we didn't have the equipment to do it. And because it was a big, like a sandbar, not sandbar, but it wouldn't let the water
Well,
flow fast enough through those
Councilman
culverts.
Gidry's next item that the picture
Yeah.
was up, she's gonna show you that it's back, it's back. We're gonna have to do something again.
Now, I don't know if they ever did it. They said they did it, so I guess they did.
Any further discussion on the erosion along the commercial? Yes.
I just have I get, when they did this development, I guess employee parking was maybe overlooked, or they just thought that was gonna work?
No, they just came a little too far. In other words, there's an easement. In other words, they have plenty of room to park. They just allowed their
Came too much to the
limestone to
right of
come closer into the ditch and came into our right of way, our easement, if you will, to clean the ditch. So the only thing that, and I'm not asking them to really do.
But I know, but
right
she
now,
said the
but-
employees didn't wanna park on the grass, so their initial plan was always,
No, I think it's on a
Gravel.
slope, and I think they put the limestone. The limestone was planned from the beginning because you have to have parking for a project. You couldn't
Oh,
get by
okay.
without the parking.
so this area is not the gravel area. Okay, I guess that's where I
Yeah,
got
the
it.
gravel is
Cause
beyond
she said gravel, and then she said,
Yeah,
and then they
it's
put
limestone.
rocks, so I was like,
Right.
I'm not trying to park on that. That was not a
Right,
good
yeah,
plan.
and what we're gonna do is continue to monitor and put riprap. We're gonna end up with some dirt on top of it and the grass will grow
Okay,
again.
I guess
We're
the
gonna
way
continue
the
to
girl
work on it.
explained it
Yes.
threw me off.
Right, and
Okay.
like I said, I didn't want to.
You're not saying they can't park there.
No,
But
no.
it's, yeah.
But they
It's
need to
dangerous.
understand that
Yeah.
their limestone has come further
Yeah.
into our right of way, and if I
Right.
have to go, or if the parish and if we partner with the parish to clean that ditch and to do something, we come in on our
That's-
right of way,
yeah.
and we have every right to do that.
That's correct.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Liability issue. So if a vehicle if this does happen and they're on our right of way and something happens, they can't come back on the city, or is that, how does that?
They need to talk to their landlord.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. The developer and the owner of that project is who they need to talk to.
Yeah.
Okay. Correct. Correct. Any further discussion? Great, thank you. Good discussion item, and we will continue to monitor it and continue to fix it as we need to. Now we'll go to 5B.
You want me to read it?
Oh, you want to read it?
Sure.
Good.
Madam Clerk?
Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Sherry Guidry discussing a request to the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development to clean the span bridge located near the intersection of Ann Street and Admiral Dahl Drive. Can I get a motion?
Councilwoman Guidry. Too funny, man.
She's taking over.
Take a chance.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the commercial, this is the span bridge. Underneath it, you can see a lot of silt that's underneath this bridge.
There you go.
There you go. And that is a lot of silt. And I think that this needs to be cleaned out. So I got with Mayor Freddie and, of course, Mr. Leroy, which is the man of the hour again. And we need to get with Department of Transportation. So I would like to make a motion to make this a new resolution to support, to write a letter of support to the DOTD if they can clean this out.
Okay. Yeah, because we had it for discussion. Let me ask Jeff,
I
can
don't
you
think-
take a discussion item and make it a resolution?
I don't think you need a resolution to write a letter.
Okay.
So I think
We
the
don't-
mayor could say,
okay.
I'll write a letter.
Okay,
Okay.
so you can just write a letter
Hey, you know what?
there?
I'll write a letter.
Write a letter.
And I'll bring you a picture.
Thank you.
Take a picture where those culverts are.
Yeah, I'm
You know
gonna
what
take
I'm
that one
talking
too.
about? Yeah.
I will.
Okay.
But this really shows, I mean, that we are restricting some water, and this could move that water a lot faster if we could get this cleaned out. So
And I think it would alleviate some flooding, and cause the water to move, because right behind that is Moss Oak, I think, apartments
Yes,
and stuff,
yes.
and they do flood pretty
Oh, I
fast.
agree. Well, I will write a letter, I'll include the pictures, and that's something I'll get done. Thank you, thanks for your work.
Thank you so much.
All right, come back, clerk. She might stay there.
You're not getting
Councilman Lewis
paid.
can read
You're
it.
not getting
Yeah,
paid.
yeah. That'd be a great idea, we just let everybody read their own.
Oh, we wouldn't need vaccine.
Yeah, we need.
Oh, yeah, we need vaccine. Item
They
seven,
do
please.
need
I'm over the fried
vaccine. They do need it.
Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Marlon Lewis discussion of overlayment of Hopkins Street by DOTD and clarification of City of New Iberia and State of Louisiana DOTD street swap.
Councilman Lewis?
Well, Mayor, first of all, after Main Street and St. Peter Street was completed, I started getting a lot of calls about when will Hopkins Street be completed. And I want to know when it's going to be completed. I want to know if there's money already budgeted by the state to complete this. Is it something that's going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And I'm going to get into the other stuff as the conversation goes. But I basically want to know if this is going to happen or if it's not going to happen. And if Hopkins Street is a city street now and it's not going to happen, then where do we go from here?
I understand.
Or should we go back to it being a state street, and how do we do that?
Well, we did a road swap, and we've already got the work out of St. Peter Street and Main Street. And so we haven't accepted Hopkins Street yet, and we won't till after the work's done. There's drainage work, they have to bring the road up to compliance, do some work. I can call up Mr. Leroy, who knows pretty much what's going on. But what they're gonna do, they have a drainage project plan. We met with the MPO, who were here earlier, and when they do the project, we're also gonna get a bicycle lane out of the deal that's gonna go tie into our other bike paths that we're doing. But that hasn't happened yet, but we will not accept that new road until all of this work is done. Mr. Leroy, can you fill us in on what's coming?
Yes, you do have the money. It's there.
Yep.
I think we put a stick in the wheel to help Hopkins Street in the past administration for drainage from Dale to the bayou. We're gonna have a complete new drainage system from Dale to the bayou. And the survey on the drainage is complete. They are surveying the utilities to be moved now. When this project's gonna be bid, I do not know right at this point, but the drainage is gonna be done first, then the overlay.
But it stays a state road until all that's complete.
Yeah, that's
I'm not gonna
correct.
Sign off to
Right.
take
That's
until
correct.
we approve.
That's
So
correct.
it's coming, and the stick we have is we're not taking it till after the work's done.
And it'll help your Corrine Street area and all of that. We'll be able to tie into this
Yeah.
Yeah.
trunk line that they're gonna lay, so.
Because, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
what he's talking about, I was here for the past administration where they wanted to swap and just maybe overlay.
Yeah.
We made them do the drainage.
That's correct.
That's why it took so long on Vine Street by St. Peter. They did some major drainage work there.
Yeah.
And then that's the same thing on Hopkins Street,
Yeah.
that we getting out of the deal.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't do that, we wouldn't have done the swap.
No.
By
That's
far.
correct.
Yeah.
That's
So
correct.
it's a major
I mean-
work that has to be done because, you're talking about from Dale Street all the way to the bayou,
Yeah.
those pipes got to go underneath the ground. And we don't want it to look pretty. We want it to work right.
Yeah.
Then it can look pretty. But that was a big deal because we voted against this
Right.
thing the first time.
Right.
Then they came back, well, what do you want? And we tried to get everything we could.
Yeah.
And I think we did.
Yeah, it's gonna be they talked about piecemealing it and all that. I don't know, 15 or 20 people from DOTD at one time.
Oh, yeah.
We met, and I told them, no, we wanted a complete, good drainage system for Hopkins before, we consider accepting. So, that's where we at. And it might not be till 2020 before we see anything, but it's coming.
So you think Natalie and I think Danny.
Yeah, I got more heat on that project than anything, but I
Yeah.
remember the drainage thing was a
Mhm.
big deal. They were gonna come and just make it look pretty,
Yeah.
and we said, no,
But
absolutely not.
your overlay wouldn't last.
That's right.
Right.
Marla.
And like I told them no for an
Yeah,
overlay
no.
in my
Me
district for
too,
Dasher
yeah.
Road. I said no way. 'Cause the
Watch,
king trucks.
Well,
watch
what's
Main
good
Street
about it-
by Live Oak School.
Yeah.
It's gonna start peeling, because the water's constantly on it when it
Right.
rains.
Yeah.
And that's another thing.
Yes, sir.
Freddie and I have spoke. Main Street has to be done also before you'll accept the road swap.
Okay.
That's all in that agreement.
Yep.
So,
We did well.
yeah.
We did. I'm not.
So they overlaid Hopkins Street, I'm sorry, Main Street.
Yes.
Yes.
But they didn't, you say water still stay there?
They're gonna do the drainage and re-overlay that stretch.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And they're gonna have to overlay.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are,
Okay.
before we accept it, because it's not gonna hold up, and we
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah. The state.
I
likes
had a resident from that lives in the reserve. He called it the first week. I said I will call them, and I stopped him. I told him from the beginning.
And that's coming also,
I got
that
somebody
drainage
who lives
project.
in an apartment that said it is not going to work. One
So-
person could have saved them a lot of money if they listened.
Yeah, we could, Hopkins could, it'd be a Band-Aid without putting the drainage.
Yeah.
So, just got to be patient.
I understand the street swap thing. I got a question. It's kind of hard on my shocks coming down Hopkins Street
Mhm.
every day from Westgate, back and forth, picking up my daughter from band practice every single day. So the potholes from Admiral all the way down to maybe up to right past
All the whole street.
I'm like,
It's
I'm
bad.
like Redborn
I'm trying to say,
Express.
where?
Can
Where
we
you wanna
just
stop?
maybe fill in the potholes, y'all? I mean,
can-
because I hit one the other day. My whole Mercedes Benz just swerved all over the road.
I'll gladly ask him to
It's
do that.
bad. It's bad. It's getting worse. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, we can request.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
It's gonna be
for
a
now.
while. We know it's not coming tomorrow.
It's not.
Mhm.
Good. It's not the best, but it's something.
Yep.
Okay, we can do
We
that.
we can request that,
Okay.
We can do that.
get them fixed.
All right.
Any further discussion?
I guess one more question is, what do we have to lose though, as far as, cause I've been hearing all kind of stuff and I wanna hear from y'all. Do we lose any tax dollars when this becomes a city street?
Nope.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. And we gained a whole lot of infrastructure and a whole lot of overlay of other streets and other areas, so it's a win-win. I don't think we lose anything. Well, we'll have to maintain the street after, but if we do it right and hold their feet to the fire, we're gonna get the good drainage we need first, we're gonna get a quality overlay, and it's gonna last a really long time, so it's a win-win.
Well, what came out from the legislatures, they all came here,
Mhm.
all of them. sooner or later, the state won't be paying for none of these streets.
Okay.
If they take this, because pretty soon, we're giving all those highways through these little towns to
To you.
y'all. So I advise y'all taking this, because pretty soon they won't have the funding to do these projects, and then we'll own it anyway. Did not say that?
Yeah, road swap.
We might as well get the improved version.
Road swap projects are in a special pot of money.
That's right.
You know, so the money is available. I mean, this project is funded. It's just design and bidding and, you know, government works, you know, at a kind of slow space. Slower than Freddie and I want to work.
Right. No, and just to follow up, I knew that's where Dan was gonna go with it, but we have verified with our city attorney that they have the right, like, to call us today and say, that's your street. And so that's really why we went ahead and did what we did, even though we knew it probably would take a long time, and we didn't take on Daspit. I didn't wanna swap Daspit, from Jane Street to the grocery store, only because the cane trucks pass there so often that one overlay, I'm probably gonna need 3 overlays by the time they cut the cord on all of this. So that's the only reason why we didn't take that street. But I mean,
yeah,
from the way it looks, and if you watch the news, there ain't much.
Okay.
Anything else?
Just one more comment.
Oh, sure.
I just want to remind my council, Hopkins Street is not my street, it's our street.
It's just
Got
a-
1,
you-
2, 3, 4.
We got a whole
people.
bunch of them.
And truth be told,
It's the
I
whole
got the smallest part of Hopkins Street.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's still a state
But I
road.
accept the challenge.
And it's still a state road.
You can handle that.
Yeah,
I can handle
you can handle it. Good. Anything further on this? Great. Good discussion. Good discussion on it. Madam Clerk, item 8.
Council remarks?
I'm starting Dustin's side tonight.
All right, thank you.
Take a chance.
Be the last time announcing the Festival of Live Oak, March 17th. So after you Titan Right Initiative, gather up, get over for some good barbecue. We actually have 7 teams. We're still accepting arts and craft teams and all booths. So we're not going to turn anybody away, definitely. Still waiting on one person to confirm, but I haven't got that one yet. He's sitting right over there. But yeah, please come out March 17th for a good cause. And thank y'all.
Thank you. Councilman Gill.
March the 17th, Tight and Right Cleanup Initiative. Let's get out there and neighbors helping neighbors, and still got some people coming aboard, and there's many organizations coming to showcase what they do for the community and what services they provide, which is very important for our residents. The registration starts at 10 o'clock if you want to be a part of it. The actual event starts at 10:30. Let's get out there and let's work together and come together. So, and I also want to thank our preacher man, our mayor of this city. He attended the Black History Tea, and he was the loudest Amen corner. I was the guest speaker, and I just want to congratulate Ms. Deidre Ledbetter for receiving an award on that day as well. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ledbetter.
I want to thank our mayor for taking a chance. He took a chance. and I met that opportunity, to fellowship with some very good people.
That's right.
But it's been the buzz ever since I
Yes.
said that.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
But it was really nice, and I thank you for attending. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I did.
I did. It was nice to see you get an award. Sherry did an amazing job, and it was a good. I really enjoyed the afternoon.
It was. It's always an annual event, and next year we will be honoring some different people, and it's usually the last Sunday in February. Also, I want to remind everybody that our neighborhood watch will be on March the 17th, and 6 o'clock at the Slyman. So come on out, and it's really for District 4 and 5, but anybody is welcome to attend, to join in the neighborhood watch. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Mayor, you brought up Church Alley. Is that project is totally complete?
Just about.
Please say you're painting the wall.
Yeah, the walls are painted. If you go right by, the walls are painted.
They painted?
Yes.
week.
We have, that was finished actually on Monday. They had a little bit left and they finished it. We're waiting on 1 or 2 little allowance items to come in, but what we're gonna
Looks
do
good.
probably is close out the project and then Paul will just handle the couple of allowance items. But it's not much left. There's a kiosk to be designed that shows the bike trail, a big sign that goes up. Really, it's signage is all we have left. But we had allowances for that, so what we're gonna do is just take the allowance out, close the contract out, and then just use the money that we had in the allowance to handle that. That'll be the only thing that'll be left, because we're working with other agencies to design that and put that together.
And how
But yeah,
about
it's basically done?
the lighting? Will it be lit every night?
Yes.
Yes. It's on a
photo
So
art.
it's always gonna be lit at
Always
night?
lit, yes.
Okay. I was
The-
someone asked me.
Yes, it is. It will always be lit.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Broussard.
Mayor, I want to thank you for sending that letter to DOTD about the turning arrow
Yes, sir.
on Amador and Elm. It's tragic what we have to go through. Every day we see that. I pass a lot. Busy time. I want to ask the people in College Park to please be patient. We're trying to move the DOTD, but they're not moving. We have to deal with this for 3 more months. And it's sad that citizens that pay taxes can't get what they asked for, or get what was there before, for 30 years. That hour was there. But Cathcart can have one part-time. They closed for 3 or 4 months. They can have a left turn hour. That doesn't make sense to us that we live in there. So I want to please ask the people to please be patient. We tried. Mr. Zach, hope everybody shows up at our District 3 prayer walk. I'll be there, and we want to participate. So everybody come together, and I hope it changes the world where we can get things better in this town.
Thank you, Mr. B. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and also, last night we had a town hall meeting in the Western Park. Chief was there, Councilwoman Guidry was there, the mayor was there, and it was a good turnout. Sponsored by the Push Coalition and a New Chapter. We partnered with them to make a successful event, so that was a good turnout. I want to thank y'all for coming out to talk about some of the issues concerning District 2 and the whole city. And the other thing, man, I'm a sports guy. I played basketball for New Iberia Senior High from 88 to 90, and you know, we went to the playoffs. We didn't win state, but this year we had 2 teams from New Iberia. New Iberia Senior High had a good run. They lost out last week. That's my alma mater. I support them big time. Westgate, most of the kids from my district go there, come to my barbershop and all of those things. They're going to be playing for the state championship they're going to be in the semifinals, last 4 teams on Thursday. I think the game is in Lake Charles at 4:45. And I just want to congratulate the coaches, the players, the parents who supported those kids, the fans who supported them. And with all that's happening, it's good to know that there are some good things coming out of our communities with our youth. And I just want to congratulate them. And I hope next time I'm saying congratulations on the state championship by Westgate.
Yep. Thank you. Natalie?
My only announcement is that recently I bought a new house and moved in District 1, still in District 1. But the street I moved on is it's a kind of a new development area, and I have 4 houses coming up. I went from having none to 4, and there's going to be, I think, 3 more in the next year. So over the past couple months, I've really gotten to see a lot going on my street, and I've really learned to appreciate, even more so than I already did, the permit department and public works, because I see them coming in and out left and right. I think I saw wastewater there today. Everyone's always polite, waving, and it's just, I know it's springtime, so they're probably extra happy to be out and on the road. But you know, I think a lot of times when we think of especially permits, you know, they're in the office and this, that, and the other, but it's amazing how many days a week I see them coming, dentists riding by, stalking, making sure, you know, all these houses are being built right. I mean, I've seen him 7:30 in the morning. I'm leaving to go drop off at school, and he is like on the go, like ready to get them first thing. Make sure they are in compliance. You know, and you know, I really, you know, that department permits and compliance went through a lot over the past 6 years. So I just want to put that out there that very grateful for them, and I'm very impressed with their attitudes and the amount of activity I'm seeing just on one little street.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I really don't have anything. Next meeting is March the 20th, and I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Great.
Unanimous motion.
Everybody made the motion.
That's one.